All right, everybody, welcome to Unfiltered. We're glad you're here. We have a special edition today because obviously Christmas is just a few days away. I have a couple of guests with me. You're going to kind of see them maybe in some of the shots in the beginning. I'll bring them in towards, maybe not the middle of the podcast, but somewhere after my intro, and then we're going to actually discuss the things that I'm going to talk about. As always, remember, share the podcast. I'd love to get this podcast out to more and more people. I'm trying to do a better job bringing information that is going to be helpful to you and the people of your friends and your family. So like the page, share the page, also subscribe to the page on YouTube Unfiltered, and you won't be disappointed. But today we're talking about Christmas. And not just the version with the lights and the gifts and the package or the packed schedule, I should say, but where it actually came from and why we celebrate it the way we do. And it's supposed to mean for Families Day, because Christmas means something different for each and every individual depending on how they were raised, depending on how they were brought up. But if we're going to be honest, I do believe Christmas is a beautiful time of the year, but it's also very busy. It's emotional, it's stressful, it's nostalgic, it's complicated sometimes because of all the family and the gifts and all the parties and everything we got to deal with. And so what I want to do today is I want to slow down and I want to have a real conversation about how Christmas started, how it's evolved, and how can we reclaim it to what matters most. So let's start with, where did Christmas come from? The Bible doesn't give us an exact date of Jesus' birth, but December 25th is mentioned, and it's not mentioned anywhere in Scripture. But the early Christians didn't celebrate Jesus' birth at first. They actually focused more on his resurrection. And Christmas as a formal celebration didn't really take shape until a few centuries after Jesus. And the church eventually chose December 25th, not because we know that's the exact date, but because it aligned with existing Roman festivals that celebrated light in the darkness in part of the year. And here's something important really that we should all understand, and that is that it doesn't make Christmas a pagan holiday. It means the church redeemed the moment, and we should be celebrating it in the way that the church has set it up. And instead of celebrating false gods, we're celebrating the true light of the world. And that's where we get John 1:5. It says, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness can never extinguish it. So what happened was Christmas became more of a declaration that the light has come, hope has arrived, and God stepped into human history. That's the cool part about Christmas. And so why do we celebrate it the way we do? Well, the trees, the lights, the gifts, the music, the food, the tradition, all of this actually comes from culture. It comes from history. It comes from family habits that really just got passed down. And a lot of times we don't even know why we do what we do. For example, the lights that we see, it actually reminds us that Jesus is the light of the world. It extinguished darkness. It's pretty. What about Christmas trees? Why do we use the evergreen when it comes to Christmas trees? Has anybody ever even thought about that? I'll ask the two of you here in just a moment about that. But really, it symbolizes life that lasts. When you think about it, the only living tree throughout winter is an evergreen tree. It never dies. It always stays green and lit and alive. So that is why the Christmas tree was chosen. The evergreen was chosen for the Christmas tree. That when things look dead around us, the evergreen is still alive. And the gift giving, obviously, where do we get the gift giving? Well, it reflects the three wise men coming and bringing the gifts, but most importantly, it was God representing a gift to us, his son. And we see that in John 3:16. For God, how did he love the world? He gave his only begotten son. The problem isn't really the traditions. The problem is when the traditions replace the truth. There's nothing wrong with having traditions, but in my experience, the reason why I struggle with traditions is because we take the tradition and we make that the thing. Well, when we make the tradition the thing, it becomes the idol. And that's where the issue becomes, is when we have idols in our lives. And we don't need to cancel Christmas. We actually need to center it with the truth of God's word. Because when Christmas becomes about stress and spending and schedules, and all that, guess what? We end up missing the miracle. We've been in a season of miracles, and I've been talking about the miracle in the manger, and that's the miracle, is Jesus coming. And God didn't shout from heaven. He came quietly, he came humbly, and he came personally. So the original Christmas was supposed to be simple. It was supposed to be unglamorous. There was no palace, there was no spotlight, there was no status. Luke chapter 2, verse 7 says, she gave birth to her firstborn son. She wrapped him snugly in strips of clothes and laid him in a manger because there was no lodging available for them. Christmas started with two young people in a borrowed stable, in a feeding trough, and a Savior who came close in the most humble way, which tells me something. That is that God often does his greatest work through ordinary people in ordinary places and in simple moments. And guess what? That is still true today. So let's talk about family traditions, because Christmas tends to amplify everything when it comes to the joy and the loss and the memories and the conflict and the expectations. And some people love Christmas and some people endure through it. They struggle because of all the expectations that we get put on us or that we put on ourselves or other people. And a lot of families are carrying an unspoken pressure. That pressure is, well, we have to do it like my mom and dad did it. We have to do it like my grandpa did it. You know, they were the pace setters when it came to this. There's a pressure that comes with that. Or we have to do it like we always have done it. Like anytime there's any change, it's like, oh, we're messing everything up. Or we don't want to disappoint anybody, so we got to do it the way they've asked us to do it. Or we might even think it has to be perfect. But hear this. The goal of Christmas is not perfection. You know what it is? It's presence. It's being in God's presence. God didn't send a plan. He didn't send a flow chart. He didn't send some structure for us to go through all the different steps of Christmas. Okay, on this day before Christmas, you know, the 12 days of Christmas is a song, but that God didn't send that. What he did is he sent himself. Matthew 1:23 says they will call him Emmanuel, which means God is with us. Now, if you're listening to this podcast, this Sunday, I'm going to actually talk about how he's not just with us, but he lives inside of us, which I think is another vital part of Christmas. So the question becomes, are our traditions helping us be present or pulling us apart? Because it's okay to adjust their traditions. It's okay to start new ones, and it's okay to simplify. Because what your kids and your family will remember most isn't what's under the tree. It's how they felt in the room. So if I could challenge you today with anything, it would be this. Don't let culture define Christmas for you. Let Christ recenter it. So slow down, be intentional, choose meaning over momentum, because Christmas isn't about doing more. It's about remembering who came and why he came. Luke 2, verse 10 says, don't be afraid, he said. I bring you good news that will carry great joy to all people. The Savior, yes, the Messiah, the Lord, has been born today. Guess what? That's still the message of Christmas. That's still the hope of Christmas, and it's still worth celebrating. That's what I want to talk about today. I've got some questions for my guests, so before we dive into the questions, let me just introduce them to you. I have our worship pastor, Pastor Joshua, joining us today. Pastor Joshua, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
And no other than Becca is here with us, who is our creative director. She makes all this fun stuff happen in a creative way here at our church. So Becca, welcome.
Hi, thank you.
And we're here today, guys, just to have an open conversation, relax. I feel like sometimes I got to be so formal on these podcasts, but today I really do want it to be just about a conversation that I want to have, that we all are going to have a different perspective, because we all grew up in different families through different cultures and the way we do things and the way we see things. And so I want to do is just ask, probably about 10 or 15 questions that I want to try to get through, so everybody can have a different perspective of how we all might be in line with the main thing, which I know for a fact all of us are in line with the main thing, and that's Jesus.
Yep.
Right? That's why we celebrate Christmas. And really, Christmas to me should be celebrated every day of the year, not just on the 25th.
Yeah.
But of course, it is a cool holiday, and I think we can make the holiday fun and enjoyable as long as we're careful about all these traditions and all the busyness that we get ourselves to. And I'll share my experience as you guys are sharing yours. So let's just start with, you heard me kind of set this whole thing up about Christmas, and I saw your response when I talked about the tree. Did you know that about the tree?
No, I did not. No, I was thinking in my head too. I was like, I don't know. I guess I thought in my head, like, they just went to the forest and were like, which one's going to look good with the ornaments? Because no other tree is going to look good with ornaments.
Right.
So I never thought anything further.
I
that was
never
pretty
even
cool.
thought about it at all. So
Yeah. The lights.
The light thing was cool too.
I had another kind of idea to share with the light and the, with the lights specifically, but there's just so many cool things of where what I see is, the meaning behind why we chose the lights and the gifts and the tree, those types of things, they just get lost in pagan ways, right? And what we have to be very careful about, we're the ones that make Christmas a pagan holiday because it's all about the things that are really not important. Mm-hmm. And that's what we did, years and years ago as Christians reclaimed it and said, no, this is not a pagan holiday. This is a spiritual holiday where Christ was born. He came to us through this. We didn't have to go to him. God came as himself in human form to us. Now we have to receive him, obviously, but I love that about him. So let's just talk candidly about what Christmas was like growing up in your home. When you were a child, tell me a little bit. So these are going to be a couple part question. Tell me what it was like growing up, and then I want you to tell me a tradition that you loved and one that you didn't like. Because I think we all have those. So first, start off, whichever one wants to go. Tell me what it was like growing up during Christmas, or what it was like in your home.
So growing up, I came from a very not wealthy family. Some could even call it poor. But Christmas was probably the best holiday, and because it didn't make sense. Like, we wouldn't really get stuff all throughout the year, but on Christmas morning, me and all my siblings, we'd be waiting outside of the door. There was never gifts underneath the tree until we woke up Christmas morning. So we had no idea. Now I know my mom and dad were just stuffing gifts away in the shed and stuff. And but on Christmas morning, it was literally magical. It was me and my brothers and my sisters just so excited to open up the doors to be able to open the gifts. And I'm literally being honest when I say there would be piles of gifts and good quality gifts too, which was weird. So it was like the time where
they saved it all up.
Yeah, my mom told me how she did it. She started buying in January when everything was on sale, and she'd get things here and there, and Black Friday and all that kind of stuff. And she just keep it away. She's really good with that. But I remember it being, the day that I look forward to the most. Like, that's how I live my life. It's how long until Christmas? How long until Christmas?
Because through the year, you didn't get a lot of things because you didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah, it was Dollar Tree.
But like Christmas, it's like they saved it all up for that one day, and that one day was pretty magical.
It was very magical.
Because you were like, wow, this isn't normal.
Yeah, so that was cool. Like Christmas morning. But we did do at our church, we did the nativity plays and stuff, the Christmas plays and whatnot. But as far as, I guess, like the focus being Jesus' birthday, I think our parents tried, but I was a kid. I just wanted the presents, I'll be honest. And over the years, my view of Christmas has changed and morphed quite a few, but that's enough for me.
I would say as like a small child, same thing, like Christmas was so magical. Just, there's something about like that childlike innocence, where you don't really understand where everything in your living room just came from, but you're so pumped, you're so excited. And then when I got a little bit older, my parents started going to a different church that does not celebrate Christmas. It became this weird thing. I would say 95% of my family's Catholic. So at 10 years old, when we stopped celebrating Christmas, granted, I have like 10 years of memories of awesome presents. And then I wake up and I'm like, no, nothing. And I don't get birthday, like, because that's the beliefs of that religion. So I kind of had like this warped view. Yeah, Jehovah's Witness. Yeah, it was, and because they don't believe that that Jesus was born in that time frame even. And so I had like this magical experience, and then I had this jaded experience. And then and then my parents kind of realized like they lost some of that magic. So then they tried to like supplement with gifts and things or trips or whatever. But then it's weird because I never saw Jesus as the reason for the season as a kid. But then when all of it was taken and then when some of it was given back, it didn't feel the same, even though I didn't really know like the behind the scenes of like the purpose of it being Jesus's birth. So it was kind of a weird thing. But as an adult and this year having a child who can't open presents, but like I can put him in front of the tree, I'm so excited. So
Did you believe in Santa Claus?
I did believe in Santa, yeah, until actually a kid on the bus told me his name is Nathan.
Leave it to the kid on the bus.
Well, so then I was such a brat. I told my parents that Santa wasn't real at like, I was in first grade. And I said, and if you get me extra presents, I won't tell Victoria and Zachary.
You bribed your parents.
Yeah.
That's what you did.
They didn't tell him till like third grade. And then in fourth grade, we stopped celebrating Christmas. So
What about you? Did you believe in Santa?
I did.
Till how long?
Until
You were 21?
no. Honestly,
I
I
yours was
was kind
longer.
of old, though. I'm not even gonna lie.
I know. I knew it. I knew it.
I am that gullible. But
That's not what I meant.
I remember it was just one night, and I was up, and I heard all this commotion, like the door open, and sounds like people were outside, and then I kind of put two and two together. It's like they're getting the presents.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And one of my older brothers hinted that he wasn't real, so that was the year.
Okay, so I don't have this in the questions, but I'm going to ask anyway. We're talking about Santa Claus. What do you teach your kids about Santa Claus now?
Oh no.
Yeah, so our family is kind of interesting because I honestly refuse like to lie to my kids straight to their face.
Yeah.
But my wife, she wants to do the whole Santa Claus, the magical, like keep the kids, very innocent and that whole fun aspect of it. So talk about Santa, talk about reindeer. Santa calls my son on the phone, and he gets to see and says about his name and all that kind of stuff. He's super excited. Any question I'm asked, I'll always go, yes, there was a Saint Nicholas, and I'll go that aspect where I'll share some truth. Yeah, and there was a Saint Nicholas, and he would go and he would give gifts to the poor and things of that sort. But I would never, I guess, reinforce the idea that Santa comes down from the chimney and things of that sort. But I do realize that's two conflicting viewpoints. It's just to keep really the peace in the family, because I don't want to crush my wife, but also my kids' hopes and dreams like that.
Yeah.
I figured
that's a tough one. People ask me all the time. So what's your?
Oh gosh. Well, we're not really there yet because Rowan's only 4 months old. So I just talked about the other night though. He wants to do Santa for sure. I'm hesitant on the basis of I have some friends who say they believe in it because you're teaching your child to believe in something they cannot see.
Yep.
But on the other side, other people say, well, I'm not going to lie to my child. So I don't know yet. Ask me next year. But Jake does want to do it.
You guys both need to go to Focus on the Family, Dr. Dobson, and read some of his stuff on this particular subject, because it gives a great perspective of how to teach your children about Santa. Aaron and I, we did not want to lie about our children about Santa Claus being real, as far as he's the one bringing the gifts.
Yeah.
So what we did is when they got to a certain age, because there's a certain age where they don't understand anything. Yeah. You could put on, this is from Santa, you can do whatever and show a Santa Claus. They don't fully understand it. But when they got to the age where they could start understanding who's really bringing the gifts and whatnot, we didn't want some fat man in a red suit getting all the credit for our hard work, right? Yeah. But the other thing too, we also didn't do a bunch of presents. We did the 3 presents, is just like the Magi, and we just did it that way. And it's always been that way. Even to this day, it's still 3 gifts. We just do it that way.
Do you do that for the grandkids too?
Great idea.
Yeah. And we just don't want them to think that that's what this is all about. And it's an opportunity for a lot of parents just to flood them with a bunch of stuff during that time.
Yeah.
When for us, we just do it throughout the year, and we make their birthday the special day.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, Christmas is for everybody.
Yeah.
But your birthday's only for you. So we make their birthday the big day. That's their special day because it's only them. Mm-hmm. And then Christmas is just the 3 gifts. But we would do the Saint Nick. We tell the story of the real Saint Nick, what he did. There was a real guy, and he went around and he put gifts on people's porches and whatnot to help them. We would tell that story, but we told them that Santa Claus was not real. It was fictitious. It was basically part of our Western culture of what they did, and they just took it from the idea of the real Saint Nick, and we just flat told them the truth. And from the church standpoint, I also say that in the adult experience. And I've had a couple parents get mad at me because their kids are in there, and I would respond to them, well, your kids shouldn't be in here.
Yeah.
Because
for
we're
real.
in an adult experience, and if there's an adult in this room that believes in Santa Claus, we got different problems.
There's other topics also talked about I'd
Right?
be more alarmed about.
But the truth of the matter, when it comes down to it for Aaron and I, what you said was great. One, we don't want to lie to our children. But two, if we tell our kids that if Santa's real, and they're seeing him everywhere we go on TVs and Christmas shows and the malls, and then all of a sudden they get older and we say, oh, well, we lied to you about that. And even though we have good reason, right? It's not like we are trying to deceive them.
Yeah.
It's to kind of keep the holiday. But then when you tell them about Jesus, who they cannot see, then all of a sudden it just leaves that question.
Skeptical.
I've been duped my whole life about this person. Well, how do I really know about Jesus?
Yeah.
And Dr. Dobson has a great teaching on that. We don't have time to go into it all, but I encourage you both to read it. And then the way what I tell people, it's got to be your own personal conviction of what you do. And that's, it is what it is. So what's a tradition that you loved? And we'll try to keep these shorter answers, because we all, especially me, can go really long. But what's a tradition you loved, and what's one you didn't like? Or if there is one, you may not even have one.
I loved driving around and looking at Christmas lights. In hindsight, it was pretty much free. So that's probably why my parents did it. I don't really have one I didn't like. I didn't have traditions very long, so.
Okay.
Yeah. As a kid, I loved everything about it. I can't think of anything I didn't like about it. As an adult, there's a lot I don't like about it, but I don't even know if we have enough time to get into all that. Yeah. I'll be honest. I have been, for the last at least 12 years, been a very Scrooge when it comes to Christmas, because it's a busy time in my life where I don't really get a moment to stop until like Christmas Day normally. And by that time I'm
over it.
I'm worn out. Like it's not a great time of the year, but things are different.
Oh, there's a few traditions I like. One, I love the feel of Christmas. I like the music. I like the lights. I like the Christmas trees. I like the feel of the holiday.
Yeah.
And I like the Christmas cookies and the hot chocolate. I like all that. Even though I won't drink it or eat it now, I used to. But I like the feel of it. I like the Christmas party. I like all that stuff. I think the holiday is really fun, or it can be fun. I love gift giving. It's an opportunity to give gifts, but not in a way that's got to be overboard, but just as really to bless people, especially people that can't afford it. I love that. The tradition that I dread, and I love seeing the kids open up their gifts in the morning and us celebrating what Christmas is about. I love all that. But what I dreaded the most was the having to go to every single family thing.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I got to pack all the kids
so
up.
true.
I got to go to this person's house for a couple hours. I got to go to this person's house for a couple hours. That's the stressful part. Yeah. And that's where Aaron and I changed that tradition. And of course, we caused a lot of problems because our families were upset, because we're not going anywhere on Christmas anymore. It's going to be at our house for our family. And even though we're 5 minutes away, we're not coming to your house. You're not coming over to our house. We want that day to be for us. Yeah. And then we will schedule a family Christmas one day, and we'll schedule this family Christmas one day, and that's it. No more. Because it's just too much, right? Yeah. That was what I dreaded the most. So you talked about your view changing over the years. Let's talk about that just for a minute. How has your view changed from being a kid till being adult?
Well, obviously, when you find out that Santa's not real, it does hit you like a ton of bricks, and reality and life just hits you. But as far as the view of Christmas, as much as I want it to be all about the Advent, the Nativity, and all that kind of stuff, just over the past few years, with it just being such a exhausting season, I would say, just because in my role as a worship pastor, you're in charge of very much consumer production based plays, skits, choir, just everything that just takes up as much time as you can possibly feel. Like almost every single day of the month is taken up with you focus on somebody else's stuff and not being able to focus on your family. So it really just kind of, I think because it drew me away from my family. That's why I started to really not to resent it.
Yeah,
really,
that
the
makes a
whole
lot of
season,
sense.
December, I just resent. So I would say that's probably the main shift that has changed. And as much as I try to keep it. I know the reason it's about Jesus, about that. I try to do the best for my kids during that time, but like I'm not there mentally. To be completely honest.
Well, hopefully we can help because
You're already helping.
we definitely change that here. Because I'm like you. I don't like all that. You spend 3 months or more practicing all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you're spending all this time for one day.
Yeah.
For one night. And I love that there's organizations out there that maybe travel and do that, but I just really think we lose the real purpose and meaning, and it drives everybody's craziness whenever it's just for one church, for your own congregation. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying for me, I feel the way you do.
Yeah.
You start resenting it when really we should embrace it, which is the reason why this year it's really simple, right? It's worship and word in our church. We're not doing anything extravagant. And it's not because we're not willing. It's just, what's this thing really about? So that's a great perspective. What about you, Becca, when it comes to your views now?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I've been in creative ministry now as a staff member for 4 years. And so something earlier you had mentioned in kind of your intro was the pressure we put on ourselves at Christmas time. Mm-hmm. And I think you were speaking from a consumer standpoint of getting all the places, buying all the gifts, but also as the church, what weight do we put on ourselves, especially in creative ministries? I think this year is a little bit of a breath of fresh air. Comes at a good time having a newborn son, but it also still, it forces you to be so ahead of the game. Like I finished all of my Christmas buying. I was trying to figure out like food plans for every Christmas we're going to, 2 weeks ago, so I could do all my like grocery pickups. So I think no matter what, it's going to be a busy season. And you have to, if you don't tell your time where to go, just like with anything else, even especially during Christmas, we have the same rule. We will not do more than 2 Christmases in one day. Yeah. Not anymore. No. But now we have 4 Christmases in a row, each one day. And I'm like, oh, that didn't work. So we're going to have to fix that next year. But
and I love our family time. So we got family Christmas on Monday of next week. And I love it because we can spend the whole day together with that family or most of the day. And then when it's my family, just my kids and their kids, then we spend that whole day on Christmas Day. And then usually we don't have this anymore, but then I would have another family. Right now, my mom joins the one family, Aaron's family, which makes it way easier because it's only cool. 2. But before it was 3, and we were great with that. It was on my dad's side. And we would just do that day, the whole day for everybody. So that way that family's getting all of us for that day. And I absolutely love those traditions. I love that part of what you're talking about, and it does bring on a lot of stress.
Yeah.
When it comes to that, my view, like you guys said, when you get older and you have kids of your own, of course, now I'm an empty nester, which is even the next level of another phase where Christmas to me is honestly just another day. I love the holidays. I love all the family time. I wouldn't change any of that. But I don't get as excited like I used to when my kids were small because it's different. We have a lot of traditions. As an example, I wanted to share this one with you is on Christmas Day, we actually do Christmas that morning with the kids, and then usually right after that, we'll have brunch or whatever, and then we leave. We go watch a movie on Christmas Day, and then we get dinner out. Every single year we've been doing that for many years. This year, the kids decided that they would like to come home and we would actually eat at the house, which we're going to have it catered in. I'm just going to go buy the food and then have it catered in so that way we don't have to do the cooking. And it's going to be 70-something degrees this year. So we're going to enjoy the outside, have a little fire
Joshua's
outside.
fault.
Go to Shady Beach and
that family time is so vital. So my view today, what's changed before was it was all about the gifts.
Yeah.
It was all about buying gifts. It was all about the lights and all that. Today, it's more about family for me.
Yep.
Like, I just want to be with family and be thankful for the family that I have and enjoy being around them during the holidays. That's what I like. So my next question in all that is, how do you balance the traditions that I just talked about and keeping Christ centered?
The very first thing that we do on Christmas morning with the kids is before we open up a gift is we pray. We tell Jesus happy birthday. They know that it's not like we told them,
His
like,
day.
yeah,
But
25th
symbolic.
isn't the day Jesus was born. That's just the
Right.
day that we celebrate. He was
Yeah.
born, so we have to celebrate at some point. So we make sure that before we open up a gift, obviously the kids are thinking about, probably thinking more about the gifts, but we just want to make sure that is the very
That's cool.
first thing that we do is we pray, and we go, one kid opens one gift, one kid opens one gift, one kid, and then we just kind of go around like that to make it as long as we can.
That's good.
You only play with one of them anyway.
I like that. No, I
That's
love
cool.
that because it goes slower. We do the same thing. Because otherwise, if everybody's doing it all at once, it's just complete chaos.
Yeah, that was
It's
my
about
family
1
growing
minute,
up.
1 minute of time.
All
and then
right.
They're off.
It's all open. It's all
I love
done.
that. I love the birthday thing. I love that you make that. We do the same thing. Now, it's a little different today, but when the kids were younger, we do the same thing. Aaron would even do cake sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where and we don't do that anymore, but I love that. What about you?
Well, I say growing up, we didn't really have a whole lot of things. I think one of the things for me, I was actually inspired by Roots Kids. I used to serve back there before joining creative staff. And one year they gave out like cookie mixes for Jesus's birthday. And so I was just telling my sister that I want she's in town. Her son is 2.5 years old. So he kind of gets what's going on more than my 3-month-old.
Sure.
And so we're going to make cookies this weekend, and they're birthday cookies for Jesus.
That's awesome.
And so his parents aren't necessarily like where we're at, but I'm like, can I like do this with your son? Because my son's going to be like, great. Like, I can't do anything. So that's going to be something I'm going to start with our nephew this year, and then with our own son next year. It's just birthday cookies, not just doing Christmas cookies, which is fun, but doing birthday cookies too for Jesus's birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a very good practice. If you're watching this, as Christians, the first thing we should be doing when we get up on Christmas morning when the family's around is to absolutely recognize the real reason for the season. You're celebrating, whether that is a birthday, singing happy birthday if you want to, or you bake the cookies, bake a cake, or whether you pray, read a Devo. We used to read the Christmas story. We've done so many different things depending on the age of the children. And I think it's just great because you're teaching them that this is first. It's okay that we have the gifts. It's okay we're doing these things, but this is the ultimate reason why we're here. So I love to hear that you're doing that already, and that's your plan to do that. And even with the cookies, that's a tradition you're going to start. Your kids will always remember that. This isn't about Christmas right now, but what I was going to say, if you're going to find this out because you probably already know, during Easter we do what they call resurrection rolls.
Oh, yeah.
So with Easter, it's the same thing, right? We've taken the meaning of Easter and made it all about the dang Easter bunny, when it's not about that. It's about the resurrection. Well, again, Dr. Dobson, they came up with this idea to do a resurrection roll. And basically what you do is you have your croissants, the ones that come in a can.
Yeah.
You have those. You take a big marshmallow. You take butter and you take cinnamon. And then what you do is you take the marshmallow, as Jesus being the body, you dip it in the embalming, the butter, and then you dip it in the spices, which is the cinnamon. You put it in the bread, and you wrap it like it's in a tomb, and you squeeze it all up. Well, when you put it in the oven and bake it, and it comes out, the marshmallow's gone, and it's a big hole, represents he's been risen. And we have been made fun of, my wife more than me, have been made fun of because she's been doing this for so long with all of the people in our lives, and people would make fun of her. Now those same people, they'll message us and be like, we did resurrection rolls, and like,
That's right.
because it just gives your kids an understanding, and it's a visual, like the birthday cake or the cookies. And so it's little things like that, these traditions that you're doing that I think are healthy to remember the right reason for the different holidays that we celebrate. Have you ever had to let go of a tradition to kind of keep peace? You didn't have a lot, it doesn't sound like, so I don't know if you had to let go of it.
We weren't really big on traditions. We're still not. Outside of, just that Christmas morning, but no other kind of...
So you don't have any tradition really that you needed to let go of to keep peace. What about for you?
I would say, honestly, I don't know that it was really a tradition, but on the lines of like the family Christmases, especially when Jake was... active duty stationed in Texas, he would only be able to come home at holidays for a couple days. And so coming home at Christmas time, it would be very hard because, there's 6 different Christmases and everybody wants to see us. Well, we were younger back then, so it was easier to run places, but also we realized after the first year or two, like we were on a constant stopwatch. So we just, at one point, were like, we know Jake's only here for a couple days, but the point for him to be here, number 1, is to rest. Number 2, to see people. So you can come to us, but we can't go everywhere. And that was a very hard very hard reality, but it's honestly set us up for having kids now.
Yeah.
Where like we've already started doing that. So I think we see the fruits of that, even though it was tough the first couple years and it's still tough sometimes.
Yeah, I love that. One tradition that I like that I could talk about this all day, but back in 1999, Aaron and I did not, I was out of work, man, we were struggling. I was traveling to Indianapolis. She already knows this story. And we had a star. Aaron was putting the tree up. Well, we normally do the tree together as a family, and then when we're finished, I put the star on the tree. Well, one year I'm out of town. She's putting everything up. Well, somehow, I don't know who or what, but the star broke, and we did not have the money to go buy a new star. Aaron was so upset. She calls me. She's crying about the star because it broke, and we didn't have the money. And I'm like, babe, it's okay. Well, she went to the church at the time and literally made a star out of cardboard, took a highlighter, a yellow highlighter, highlighted it, laminated it, because she's the laminating queen. And she put, before she laminated it, she put, CMIS 99 or she didn't spell it out. Some people are offended by that or not. We know what it means. Yeah. Anyway, she put CMIS 99 on in the little leg of the star, and she laminated it. That was back in 1999. It's 2025. And we still have that same star every year.
That's awesome.
So what's cool about it is now that we don't have children, I bring the tree out. She decorates it, and like every year, if I'm not there, she'll lay the star where I sit in the morning on the table where I sit with my computer. She'll lay it there for me to put on the tree. That's kind of a tradition we've always had,
cool.
Which is a cool tradition. I've never had to the only tradition I had to let go of, so to speak, would be the one of the family the same day. Other than that, we're not a big traditional family either. There are certain things like that star deal, the going on a Christmas movie, and the 3 gifts. Those are some of the big ones. But other than that, we try not to do too much of the traditions because it can kind of pressure you into the same thing, and it's not fun to me.
Yeah, no.
What do you want your kids go ahead.
The whole thing about the star. It's cool because it reminds you where you came from. Like there was a time where you didn't.
I've used it on a message on a Sunday, have I not?
You brought it out.
We brought that star out on a tree. It was called I think it was called the Star, wasn't it, that day?
Yeah.
The message or something? I forget. But I did a whole message on it for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I brought that star out to show everybody and reminded them of the story because it does mean something. That time of year, man, it was tough. I'm like you. We did not grow up with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad, there were Christmases, man. We would go to family, and my sister and I would get 1 or 2 things, and the rest of the family would have plethora of gifts. And I'm sitting over there going, dang, Christmas sucks.
Yeah.
But it was because, we weren't taught yes, we were, but no, we weren't. You know what I mean? I don't want to, my mom did a great job. I don't want to bash on her because that's not it. But when you just, with certain family, it just becomes more about the gifts, And, it was tough those days, man, when you didn't have anything. You were different. You got all your stuff on Christmas.
Yeah.
For me, it was not like that, man. I remember one year, man, I got a Soul to Soul. You don't even remember Soul to Soul. Back to Life, Back to Reality, that song?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got that CD or cassette for Christmas and a pair of jeans. That is it. And they were so embarrassed about that we only got 2 gifts that we opened them on the way to family. They're like, "You're going to go ahead and open your gifts in the car on the way there because we weren't able to give you a lot, and we don't really want to be seen as we didn't give you a lot." That's how bad it was at times. So Christmas can be tough, but when I think about all that, I want to ask you, what do you want your kids to remember most about Christmas? I know we're all going to give the answer. I want them to know about Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course we do, right?
Yeah.
I think for me, just like with my personality, I guess, other than, yes, the typical answer, it's to slow down and to really, don't take your family for granted. It's so weird because, when you go to the store, people are nicer during Christmas time. You run your car into somebody on accident, they're like, "Oh, it's okay, it's Christmas." It wouldn't have been okay, July 13th. So, why are we so much kinder during Christmas? And instead, why don't we just be kind all the time?
Yeah.
But, so maybe be kind all the time, not just Christmas, but also slow down in a busy season because the world will throw you everything.
That's good.
I'll be honest, I never thought about it because I was just thinking, I was like, for my kids' entire lives, probably their view of Christmas is just dad not being around. So I'm just like, I get to start a new tradition kind of a deal.
Wow.
But I've never thought about that. Like, what do I want them to remember?
Well, there you go. Now
they're going to start remembering
so we'll start something this year, and then I'll
talk about it. I'd love to know because that's man, that says a lot, Joshua. I mean, honestly, whenever I think about where you come from and that's how busy it is for you.
Yeah.
Man, I'm glad, that this culture here can help you reshape that.
Yeah.
Because for me, what I feel like, what I want my kids to remember most about Christmas is, yes, we want them to remember Jesus. There's no doubt, but probably more than that, not more than that. That's wrong verbiage, but
in addition to,
thank you. I want them to think about family. Be grateful for the family we have, that we're all serving Jesus, that we all have the like-mindedness. No, we get mad at each other from time to time, but we all have like-mindedness I'm not kidding. On my family, when they get together, yes, we have disagreements on probably some cultural things, political maybe, not much. Conspiracy theories, that's probably the biggest one that gets me all fired up. Like, I get tired of people having conspiracy theories. It's like, who gives a crap that they can look? They're listening to us right now. I hear you, So what? If you're doing the right thing and you're doing what you're supposed to, I'm not worried. They're not coming after me, right? They're coming after the terrorists and the bombers or whatever. Now they just, my computer just got an alert somewhere.
Your FBI agent is pulling into the parking lot.
But ultimately, our family, even the plus ones, the bonus kids for me, we all have the same mindset when it comes to Christ. And to me, I want them to remember that's the most thing, is our family is to be knitted together close. That's kind of for me, I guess you could say. We all have our things, but I mean, that's a big one. Because at any given moment, you think about the families today that are going to be sitting around family with an empty chair.
Yeah.
And, they've made it all about the presents, and now they're thinking about the empty chair. Well, let's think about the family you have now, so when the chair is empty, you can reminisce on the good times.
Yeah.
And not, well, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have said this. I wish we could have done this tradition. I wish we... Just start thinking about those things now so you don't get to the I wish. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how do you think... do you think... I already know the answer, but do you think Christmas has become too commercialized? Or is that an overstatement?
Oh, for sure.
100%. Way too commercialized.
Yep.
It is a money-making industry now. Like, I was reading something yesterday, and it said projections for sales, or like retail, is like over $1 trillion.
That's insane.
And last year, it was like $876 billion. Yeah. So it's like, for a fact, consumerism is through the roof.
I do like the idea, though, that they finally, like on Black Friday,
yes,
they finally took all that back and we're going to wait until actually the Friday instead of on Thanksgiving Day. Like, they remember when they were just kept going earlier and earlier.
It was like 3 p.m. on Thanksgiving.
It's going to be freaking Halloween. Oh, we got Black Friday. It's already bad enough you're seeing Christmas stuff at the day after Halloween. Yeah, I agree with both of you. I think it's too commercialized for sure. So how do you think families can simplify Christmas without losing joy?
I mean, I don't know what we're doing yet for presents, but like, I honestly think that focusing on the 3 gifts is like a very easy way to just take away the pressure of how many gifts did I buy this kid? Did I spend enough on this kid? Did all the kids match? I was just talking to a friend last night who was like, it's almost impossible to do.
Can I give you one more on that?
Yeah.
We've been there, right? We also set a dollar amount. Now, depending on the age of the child, that dollar amount changed, but they maxed out at whatever age. So let's just say it's $200 for this child. It's $300 for this child, and it's $400 for that child, whatever. Then we would only buy the 3 gifts up to that dollar amount. And then a lot of times, if we didn't spend all of it, then we would take that leftover in cash and put it in their stocking. And we were big on stocking stuffers. So when that kids get a stocking, it's a big old stocking, and it's stuffed full of all the Dollar Tree stuff, or the what's the $5 store? What's that called?
Five Below.
Five Below.
Yeah, Five Below. We go there and just fill that thing up, But we take that dollar amount and add it into what their gift is. Now what we do is we just give a set dollar amount for both. So when they're single, they get this dollar amount. When they're married, we combine it, make it a little less. But they know what they're getting every year. It takes everything out for them. But that could be another thing with your 3 gifts, is just put a dollar amount to it and don't go over it. Set a budget. It's a lot of families, they don't set budgets.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Like, because we would be like, oh, we got 5 gifts for this one. Oh, this one only has 3. By the time we're done with it, each kid got 20 gifts.
Yep.
I remember one year, I was just like, I want to get the kids as much gifts as we can give them. And when I tell them we filled up that entire tree with as many gifts. They played with one gift.
Yeah.
They opened up all those, and there was one. We got them like a fire tablet. We got all three of them. That's the only thing they played with. Everything else sat in the corner
Kids
like
are
forever.
electronics.
So, but I love the idea of the 3 gifts, and I honestly think I'm going to talk to my wife about that. I feel like that should be the direction, and then but also talk with the kids, saying, hey, we're gonna 3 gifts a year. We'll make sure that they're
good gifts,
stuff that they want, But
right.
it really.
Oh, that's
does.
the worst, man. If I had one pet peeve, now that you bring that up, it would be this. Everybody asks me, "What do you want from Christmas?" I give them a list of 20 things, and Christmas rolls. I get nothing on the list. What do you want the list for?
Yeah.
If you're not going to give me anything on the list, what do you want the list for? It's like bull crap. I'm going to burn the list and you just give me whatever you want because that's what you're going to do anyway. I mean, I literally was fired up now. I give a list. I pretty much get what I want because
Do you remember the Finger Hut magazines?
Look at Kinsey over there. She's like, yep.
Do you ever get the Finger Hut magazines? Do they do that here?
I've heard of that. Yeah.
It's like magazines that show up to your house and it has like basically everything.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
But we started doing that. Like I think Target would have something like that, but we'd give them that book and say, circle what you want.
Yes.
And literally, and then we just kind of go
Sears
from there.
catalog is what we used to do.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Circle what you, I love that idea.
Actually, I loved doing that. That was a tradition at Thanksgiving at my grandma's house. We would do that. I forgot about that.
That's good.
That reaches
like,
the back of my brain.
Well,
even like now for Rowan, this dude is 4 months old. He does not need a ton of things.
Oh, he's not going to remember nothing.
Here's an Amazon list with some practical
You
things.
can get him nothing,
And that's it.
and he's going to go.
Yes.
He's
He's
still going to
baby
spit up.
wipes.
He's still going to poop and pee and all the
like,
things. He's not going to remember one thing about that
He
Christmas.
does not need crazy things. He literally can't even sit up. But I'm like, if you want, he will need a play mat eventually, some teething toys.
Yeah, you
a
give him the
rattle.
things that you would already get them.
Yeah, he's going to need anyway.
He needs bottles. Wrap up some bottles. He'll open them, and he'll think that's the greatest thing ever.
And I'm going to open them for him.
But I see parents, you know why they do it? They do it for themselves.
Yeah.
So they can give their kids what they didn't have, stuff like that.
Well, that or look how much I got my kid.
And it doesn't mean, I want to make this clear just in case we got that one person out there. I'm not saying it's necessarily wrong, but what I'm saying is it can lead to a thing to where it becomes wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about any of that. Your kid's not going to remember these things when they're 4, 5, 6 months old. There's nothing wrong with getting him a couple gifts.
Yeah.
Get him the gifts. But to go overboard, you're doing it for you. That kid don't remember jack squat. Same thing with birthdays. I get so annoyed when these parents will have a 1-year-old birthday and it is literally cost them $5,000 to do the birthday.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insanity. It's insane. You just celebrate the day. Get a little cupcake, give them 1 or 2 gifts for their birthday, and move on. Now, when they get older, get more specific. Like the birthday to me is the big deal. Make that the big deal to me. Christmas is the 3 gifts. That's what I recommend. So let me ask this last question. If you could remind people one thing this Christmas, what would it be? We're going to have at least, 6 people watching this podcast.
Is it your family?
I'm kidding. We're going to have thousands of people watching this podcast.
One thing.
What would you want to tell them? It's quiet in this podcast room.
Yeah. No,
That's a deep question.
We weren't prepped. We got to give a good answer. You can only give one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, you good? Okay, you go.
Yeah. I mean, I would say if I could pick just one main thing, it's just slow down. I think that's the most important thing. Just slow everything down.
Yeah.
And appreciate your surroundings. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah.
Coming from where you come from and what you've experienced, pretty much it sounds like your whole life being an adult.
Yeah.
Because you've been in ministry a long time and even volunteering before.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense.
I think for me it would be as like, I don't want to say only parents, but I think what it would be is your Christmas, the Christmas you create for your kids is the Christmas that they will grow up appreciating. It's not about looking in your neighbor's window and seeing what they're doing. It's not about someone you saw scrolling through Instagram. When you set aside intentional time for your kids to craft what Christmas looks like and the traditions that you come up with for your family, that's going to mean more to them than you trying to keep up with the people next door.
It's good. I would say, I tag all that. and we could probably just keep going with certain things because the way Christmas has been over commercialized and made really more about material things and the pagan holiday, or what we would consider a pagan holiday versus the reason for the season, is I would want you to do exactly what Pastor Joshua is saying, and that is slow down, enjoy your family. Don't make it about the gifts. Make it about Jesus and what he is about. And I would say remind your children, this for me is that God didn't wait for us to get it right. When it comes to Christmas, he didn't wait for us to get it right. He came to us as we were. That's the beauty about Christmas to me, is even in your messed up world, even in all your sin, everything, he came to you in that. So many people think that they have to get their life together first in order for Christ to love them and accept them. It's not true. And to me, that's what Christmas is about. He came to us the way we are now. He doesn't want us to stay that way. That's the thing I love about our church is we welcome you the way you are. You belong here, but we want you to belong before you behave. That's a phrase we use. And that's because Christ didn't ask us to get it right before you are belong or before you are accepted into the church. He accepted you right in your mess. Now that you've been accepted, now that you feel like you belong in this church, now let's get your life better.
Yeah.
Now let's work on that. And to me, if he's willing to meet us there in that place, then maybe this season isn't about doing more. Maybe it's about receiving what's already been given. Because to me, if there's one thing I want people to know, it's really just be thankful for what they have.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where they are. You could take everything away from me, every single materialistic thing away from me. And if I have family, that's all I need. Doesn't mean I don't want those things. I love the things that I have, and I am so grateful for those things. But what can get us caught up is we always want the next best thing.
Yep.
And we always want more of that thing. And then it takes our gratitude away versus just being thankful and being thankful for the most thing, which is family. There are going to be families, I'm telling you right now, you know this. There's several in our church right now that are not going to have that loved one sitting next to them this Christmas. And when you're in that place, those gifts don't mean squat to you. Yeah. Because you can't fill that void. And what a lot of people do is try to fill the void by buying a bunch of presents or by being really busy during Christmas. I'm the guy that says, you know what, they're not here, but I want to celebrate everything I remember about them. Sure, it hurts because you got to think about that. But at the same time, I want to celebrate that. I want to remember them as they were, So I know that's a long answer, but I don't give short answers. I'm a pastor. It's my job to give long answers.
You're a communicator.
I love Christmas time. I love this season.
Awesome.
I love how we've recreated the busyness and have slowed it down and made it really more about family and Jesus himself, obviously. And we'll see what it looks like this Sunday. It's going to be pretty crazy with not doing anything.
It feels a little scary.
It does.
I don't know why. It feels like something's missing, and that's kind of scary.
Well, I think that's the expectation that we do. There's a lot of people that put expectations on themselves that this has to be this way, this has to be this way, and if it's not that way, my kids aren't going to like it or my family. And that's just all the pressure that we don't need to do. We don't need to put that pressure on ourselves, man. We just need to enjoy life. Set some traditions. I'm all about setting. I think you should set some traditions because your kids will remember that.
Yeah.
Our kids remember certain things, and now they're doing that with their kids. Whatever even like the date night thing, Austin and Kinsey, that's what they do now on every Friday, date night. Our Zoe and Isaiah do this, not as often as probably I would like for them to, but they got 2 young kids, so it makes it harder. And Dawson and Taylor are doing date day. It's not always on a Friday because they have to work, but they're doing it on a Saturday. Those are traditions that we've started that our kids are starting to see that's going to pour into their marriage. Same thing with Christmas. Find a tradition that you like to do, stick to it, that's healthy. Yeah. Not that puts pressure on you where you go, well, if I don't do this, then my Christmas is screwed up. That's
just try again next year.
But how many of you have heard, maybe you haven't. But have you ever heard your parents say, we have to do this because this is what we've always done?
Or that someone else expects it of you. Yeah.
You haven't?
No, because we weren't big on tradition per se.
You should be very grateful for that.
I really should.
Because for me, I've had that.
Yeah.
I've had that. We've always do it like this, and oh man, it just irritates me when I hear that. Because you know what? We can change, right?
Yeah.
We need to change the trajectory of what some things look like.
Well, yeah.
Well, that's what Christmas is about to me, guys. I don't know about you, but...
So if I didn't get you a present, it's okay.
No. You are fired.
I didn't have your list.
Yeah, right? No. My kids are always asking me and my wife, what do you want? What do you want when you bring that up? And honestly...
It's hard.
Kinsey last year, everybody was asking me what I want, and I just put respect. I think I put something else too. I can't remember what it was. I could go back on the text, but I put respect and I put something else. And they asked again this year what I wanted, and Kinsey specifically said, not respect this year. She didn't mean it. She didn't mean it like we're not giving you respect.
Yeah.
It's just like we actually want something tangible. But honestly, I'm the guy that, and my kids will say this, if there's not anything out there that I can't go get necessarily that I want, which makes it hard to buy for you.
Yep.
But I really am not driven by the gifts. I'm more driven by my family being in my house and just enjoying the day than I am the gift.
Yeah.
And I love that they want to give me gifts. I do love that
Yeah.
they're thinking about that, but it's just not, I'm just not driven that way.
Well, everybody likes to open a present, but
I would much rather give gifts
yeah.
than to receive them with my family.
Once your kids get older, do you still give gifts, or is it like not a...
So we do a stocking.
Okay.
That's all they get. And then we give them money, cash. And we set a dollar amount.
The best gift of all.
For the dollar.
Besides
Especially for a
Jesus,
young
obviously.
family.
So they literally know ahead of time that they're getting this cash every single year. So what they do with it is their business. Like Dawson one year he needed tires for his car. So he just said, can you just get me the tires and whatever? I said, yeah, we'll just take your cash and apply it to that. Because we're generous. At least I feel like we're generous with that cash.
Yeah.
Before it was, instead of giving this dollar amount for both individuals, when they became married, we would split that, and it wouldn't be quite the same for both. So we just gave it $1 amount for both, and they could find out how much they got.
So you could like pay your kids as property tax, basically. Because
I
it's
don't know
always
if I'd
due
go
right
that
after
far.
Christmas.
Depends what they got, but we would and the thing
Mine's
of it
available.
is we budget X amount of dollars every year for Christmas for everybody, no matter what. This is our budget every year. It's always been this for all of our family, for nieces, nephews. It is a certain dollar amount every year, and we just save for that.
It's wisdom.
And we never go over. And we don't usually, sometimes we go under depending on what gifts they give, but we usually try to spend that money because that's what we want to do. We've also taught our kids that several years, we actually had them, we went out and bought families something, and then we took them over to their house and then had our kids give them the gifts. Okay. So we would say, this is from our family to yours because they didn't have something. So we'd teach our kids it's not about us. So one year they didn't get any gifts. We took all the gifts. They were all in on it. And we still might have done a couple. I can't remember. Aaron could probably clarify this a little more. But I remember taking away from our children and saying, this year, would you guys be okay that we didn't do gifts for you and we did it for other people? And they were, yep, no problem. So that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
That's
super cool.
And they were a little older, obviously, when you do that. But I don't know. We still do the three gifts for the grandchildren, and then we just do the one cash gift for the kids. Make it easier for us, and it gives them something to look forward to, that way they can go do what they want. There's nothing, the reason why I like the cash thing for the older children is because, again, my experience growing up is I never got what I wanted. I always got the crap that I didn't want, and guess what? I never used it, I never wore it, I never whatever, and it's a waste of money.
Yep.
Literally a waste of money. And how many, like you said, your kids get all these gifts, they play with one toy.
Yeah.
And all those other toys probably sit in a toy box, the clothes that you buy and they probably don't wear, whatever that is, that's a waste of money.
Yeah.
So why not just give them the cash, let them go buy what they want, or get them what they want?
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't you guys used to do like a family shopping trip?
We do that
The day
afterwards.
after.
So I'm glad you brought that up because
you
what we
can then
normally
use
do is we give them the cash. So if we give them, let's say it's $500 to make it easier, and we go spend $200 in the three gifts, and they have $300 cash left over because whatever that dollar amount they get back in cash.
Okay.
Then the next day, the day after Christmas, we would go to the mall, and that's where they would have all the sales, everything, and then they would spend the rest of their money on whatever they wanted to get.
Yeah.
And through that, we would teach them finances. Okay. So let me give you a quick example. One year, Austin wanted this pair of Abercrombie jeans. And we kept telling, he got some money from my dad early in advance. I said, buddy, you're going to get money later. Right now, there's no sales. I'm telling you, you don't want to spend $80 on a pair of Abercrombie jeans at your age. It's ridiculous. You're going to grow out of them. And no time, I want these jeans. I want these jeans. Well, okay, it's your money. So we went and bought these $80 jeans. He didn't really have much. He only got a couple items that year. Zoe, Dawson's the kid that didn't buy it until he absolutely knew. So he was the one that held on to his money the longest. Zoe,
Like a whole empire.
she wanted a pair of these Adidas shoes. I forget what they were called. They were very popular at the time. Anyway, and we saw them at one of the footwear stores. And she's like, I want to get these shoes now. She had the money. I said, baby, why don't you wait until after Christmas? It might have been a hoodie, actually. I think it was a hoodie. Adidas hoodie. I said, why don't you wait till after Christmas? I said, it's probably going to be on sale. You're going to get it for cheaper. And man, at first she's like, I really want it. I said, it's your choice, but I'm telling you, this is a lesson that you be patient and God will give you more. It was one of these lessons. So she decided to wait. We went back after Christmas to the same store for the same item, and it literally was half off.
Oh, wow.
And she about blew her lid because she's like, look, it's half off. I said, there you go. So now you get the very thing you wanted by being patient. You saved half of the money. Austin, on the other end, didn't get to go shopping because he blew it all.
Yeah.
He will tell you to this day, he remembers that, and he learned a life lesson that day.
Yeah.
He don't do that today. Okay. Now he's a big resale. He and Kinsey both go to resale shops because you can get really nice things way cheaper at a resale shop, and you don't need the name brand thing. Yeah. So these were lessons we would teach our kids. This is one of the reasons why we did the 3 gifts with the money, so we could start teaching them about money and waiting and being patient. And I don't know, it's a whole lesson.
No, that's good. That's good.
It's a whole lesson.
Part of it.
Yeah. So they learned very, very well in those days, especially they would all 3 of those kids would tell you that story today, that they learned a lesson. It's hilarious.
It surprises me Dawson held on to his the longest.
And Dawson probably, he's still like that today with most things, but yeah, I'm not going to go there.
I was going to say.
I'm not going to go there. I love my kids too much to call them out. They do really well. I'm proud of all of them. And I'm excited for some of the things that we've taught them through Christmas. And so that's why I wanted to talk about this. I love doing this stuff.
Well, now they do Christmas with their own kids. Austin and Kinsey, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
This is not an announcement.
That'll be an amazing Christmas gift this year. You can't see her on camera, but she's going like this. Not yet. But hey, listen, I want to end this day. I want to pray for all of you out there. I've had a great time with my 2 friends here, my coworkers, my colleagues, whatever you want to call them, my family, my church family. This is amazing to hear different perspectives. Everybody's at a different phase. Becca is at a beginning her years of having children, only a 3-month-old. Pastor Joshua has 3 children. Yes, 3.
That I know of.
Yeah, that he knows of. That's hilarious.
A little spice to the podcast.
And then, of course, they're at middle aged, and he's in the middle of his phase of being a parent. And of course, ours are out of the house with grandchildren. So we're giving you 3 different perspectives, and I love it. So thank you guys for joining me, telling me all about your Christmas traditions and history. Cool. And I hope this helps some of you. Give us a shout out on the podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Tell us your traditions, what you like, what you don't like, whatever you want to say. Share this with somebody who might need to hear it. And let me pray for you this Christmas. Father, we thank you. We're here to really celebrate the real reason for the season, and that is Jesus coming to us the way he did. He came for all people. That is the main reason. But also, God, that we want to use this time to celebrate family and the things that we can enjoy and teach and instill into our children about what Christmas is about. I just pray that if there's somebody out there today or this week listening to this that is stressed out or has a lot of pressure, or maybe they're missing a loved one, God, we're just asking for your peace to be upon them. We're asking that your Holy Spirit move in their life to give them comfort and joy. And God, we just thank you for what you're doing here and what you're doing in all of us. We give you praise and we love you in Jesus' name. Amen. Merry Christmas, everybody. Have a happy new year, and we will see you in the new year.